This is Market Day Report. Welcome to a Monday. All right, we're up and trading. Let's start with the corn market. Good place to start. And what are we watching for corn? Well, we'll bring that up for you in just a moment. How about we go to the soybean market? And soybeans in the past week have been trading higher. We've watched beans up 1.7% for the week, 6.2% month over month. So July now 9 1/4 higher, 10.79 a bushel, and the November new crop up 9 at 10.63 3/4. Let's drop back to the corn market now. We're seeing red December off 6 1/4, 4.36 3/4. And since we're bouncing around, I think it's important to stop and look at soy oil quickly. Look at the gains we're looking at on soy oil. Yep, 408 higher on that July contract. Wheat market, what do we see? Well, we see lower trade. July at 5.37, that's down 6 3/4 cents. And we go to hard red, and the hard red trading down 3 3/4, 5.37. Spring wheat, that is off 4 at 6.58. Tommy Grisafi's with Nesvick Trading. Tommy, as we start the week, looks like soy oil is taking the market higher.
Absolutely, Tony. Spinning off that news from Friday, the EPA news was a really big deal, and soybean oil closed limit up. Now, we gapped open last night, and we continued that strength late in the evening. We really started to rally. So these are big numbers. We have extended limits today in soybean oil, and you're really seeing some positive encouragement here out of the EPA. Several people have hinted, whether it be on the USDA or within the Trump administration, that they're going to do something for farmers. This looks like it's it, and that is getting soybeans up. Soybeans were up 25 on Friday, another 7 today. Now, that has nothing to do with corn, and corn is definitely the loser in this. Corn is down 8 cents here on the lows as we speak. So big price action here as we come through the weekend. Seeing markets calm down a little bit real quick on the outside. Just the stock market's up, and crude oil gapped open higher last night, but is now lower on the day. So an overall easing of risk after we traded very aggressively downside here last week in the outside markets, Tony.
Okay, Tommy, quickly over to the cattle market. We're watching June at 226.12 now. That's up $1.02. August 237 higher, 214.82. And the feeders have been higher as well, up 270 on the August. September 280 higher, 308.40. Last one here, the hog trade. $1.47 higher on the front month, August, 111.67, up 155. Cattle on feed report set to come out on Friday. About 30 seconds. Final thoughts here?
Holiday abbreviated week. We're going to have a holiday midweek. We're going to come back. July options expire on Friday. Folks, keep an eye on that. We're going to be off, I believe, on Thursday and come right back for a July options expiration. Expect some volatility this week, not only in grains or livestock, but all markets should continue to be volatile, my friend.
Okay, and again, we'll keep an eye on that soy oil market. Again, RFS, the Renewable Fuel Standard, celebrating 20 years. All right, that's how the markets open up. Tammy?
Thanks, Tony. Well, President Trump's oldest sons are making a big announcement this morning, unveiling a new cellular service designed to deliver top-tier connectivity. And it coincides with the 10th anniversary of their father's first campaign launch. Eric Trump joins us now from the Trump Tower in New York to share the details. Thank you so much for your time today, Eric. Bring us up to speed on this Trump Mobile and how it works.
Well, Tammy, it's great to be on. I mean, listen, we had to develop technologies over the last 10 years to kind of coincide with the problems of this country, right? First, we were deplatformed as a family. We were thrown off of Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, and so we created Truth Social. Then, obviously, we were canceled by every bank in this country, and so we created World Liberty Finance, and we really got into the crypto space. And today, we're getting into the mobile phone space, and we want to disrupt that market. I mean, everybody has one in their pocket. I don't think they've been all that innovative over the last 5 years. They're not offering kind of the functionality and features that they should. A lot of people are getting ripped off, to say the least, because they don't pay attention to their cell phone plans. So I think we can do it better. We can do it cheaper. We plan to build phones in America. All of our customer support is in America. You're speaking to Americans, so we're building a mobile network by Americans for Americans. And so we started Trump Mobile, and it's been, the reception that we've received is absolutely amazing. And so kind of the three technologies are all going to come together in some way, shape, or form. Obviously, the hard devices, the cryptocurrencies, which we so believe in, again, especially after kind of the financial wars that we were put through and the financial hell we were put through. And obviously freedom of speech, which is kind of the last pillar. And I think the three can come together in a beautiful way, and I'm very excited about it.
Is this also going to be 5G? And what is the coverage going to be like? I mean, we obviously cater to our farmers and ranchers and the 60 million people that live in rural America. Will you be able to service those?
It's actually one of the disappointments I have. I mean, I can't tell you how often you're not getting cell phone coverage in this country, and we better fix that. We better fix that as a nation, and we better win the 5G effort, especially for rural America. But also, listen, I'm in a city right now, and half the time your cell phone service in the city is no better than it is in rural America. And it's a problem that America has to fix, and it will through 5G. There's no question about it. But yes, we're utilizing the biggest carriers, and the biggest networks in the world. We're just doing it better, providing more optionalities, providing made in America products, obviously service in America at better prices. And there's going to be a lot of, in the long run, there's going to be a lot of security features we also are going to add in, because people are petrified of speaking over the phones. I can't tell you, half the country doesn't even want to use a phone anymore based on kind of some of the weaponization of government they see. And so that's something that in time we're going to combat in a very large way as well.
So does it work with other major carriers, and when will it be available?
Exactly. Well, it's available right now. You can go to TrumpMobile.com. You can sign up. You can get an eSIM. Literally in 2 minutes, you can have an eSIM, and put it right on your phone. $47 a month, and yes, it works with all the major carriers. That's the whole purpose of it.
And let's talk about getting those phones made here in America, because that is really what you guys have been about in the Trump administration, is having that manufacturing here on U.S. soil. What does that mean to you to do that?
Listen, it means everything to us, right? I mean, that's been our whole family's creed. Tammy, I can't tell you, on the campaign trail, I'd go to every single state, and every town you drive through had a plant that was otherwise closed down. You'd have a chain link fence around it. There'd be no cars. There'd be no lights. It was closed. It used to produce a great American product, and it no longer does anymore. Why in the world are we allowing that to happen? And that's been my father's creed the entire time. And so, I don't give a damn if we make Kleenex in the United States, but we better be making high-tech products, mobile phones, cards, all the high-end technologies, right? All the microchips. We better be able to manufacture those products, because it's vital to America. We need to lead the way in terms of that, and frankly, every other technology. If you have a little widget that's meaningless to humanity, that's fine if it's made in China, or if it's made in Vietnam, or if it's made in Pakistan or one of these places. But America better be leading the way in terms of technology. And it's about time we start making phones in the United States of America. And so that's a big push for us. And I believe me, in terms of technology and bringing back jobs to our country, you better believe that's a big priority of my father's.
Absolutely. That is a big announcement today. Trump Mobile. That's Eric Trump joining us this morning on behalf of the Trump Organization from New York. Thank you so much for your time. We'll be back with more Market Day Report right after this.
Welcome back to Market Day Report. Again, watching for cash cattle this week, and this is in front of a cattle on feed report, which comes out on Friday. It's interesting because we don't have trade at all on Thursday. Then we'll trade Friday, and then after the close, we get that cattle on feed report. Now, many will expect lower numbers for on feed, in part because, well, we've got a border closed with Mexico, so Mexican feeder cattle are not coming in. And we already know the tight supplies we have. Cash cattle last week, 235 to 240, mostly 235 in the south. North was 242 and dressed at 380. Let's go to the markets this morning, and we're trading higher, up $1.10 on the June at 226.20. Now that June contract will expire at the end of the month. 287 higher on the August, trading 215.35. Feeders, what's happening there? Well, we are watching feeders move up to 20 at 308.62. September, 2.5 higher at 308.10. October, November, January, all trading $2 higher across the board. And then the hog market, well, 110.80 on the July, that's $1.32 higher. 111.52 on August, that's 140 higher. Let's go to energy markets. And first, we'll start with the equities. Dow is moving higher right now, up over 400. NASDAQ is in positive territory as well. You know, just last week we're seeing a sell-off for the most part in our equities. Then we go to the S&P, yeah, a little higher for the S&P 500 as we look at the E-mini contracts here. And then the dollar, what's happening with the dollar index? We're pulling back at 97,780. And so that's one we'll keep in mind as well. Finally, let's go over to the crude oil market. And West Texas Intermediate up 12.9% month over month. And the July contract at 70.58 is down to 63. I think we've got Tommy Grisafi still with us. And Tommy, surprise, welcome back. As we look at the other markets we'll trade the rest of this week, what are your thoughts?
Extreme volatility. When anytime you have the second crude oil traded up 13% Thursday night, that sends a shock to so many markets. You pair that together with what the EPA announced, and now you have a explosive rally in soybeans. Some of the funds are extremely short some of these commodities. In corn and wheat, it's still working, but in beans here, look for exit strategy. And the question is, Tony, will the funds go from a net short to a net long in products like soybean meal, soybean oil? So keep an eye on that. Of course, that data is delayed, and there's a lag effect in finding out what the funds actually have on. But holiday abbreviated, we're going to have abbreviation in the trade this week. We're going to have July options expire on Friday. And I expect volatility all week. We have the stock market halfway back exactly from Friday. Dow Jones was down 800, now up 400, like you said. Continued bounce in the meats. I did hear from a hog producer over the weekend, and he was complaining about making margin calls, which is it's hard to explain, but as someone who produces livestock or animals or anything, you always want the market to go up. But if you sell or protect too early, then you wish you would have done nothing. Now, if it was that easy, we'd all be just selling the highs and buying the lows, buying dips, selling rips, but it's not that easy. So as a hog producer, a cattle producer, if you're making margin calls, assuming you're staying disciplined, using the government products like LRP, I think you're in a good spot. The meat sector, the protein sector, absolutely on fire, Tony.
Tommy, thanks for popping in. Tommy Grisafi's with Nesvick Trading.